Coming up on Up at Noon Live, somehow we actually have real Avatar news. The Simpsons has done something to make me mad. Once again, please let it die. And Hideo Kojima. Can Metal Gear exist without him? Let's have a talk right now on Up at Noon Live.
Oh, look at that. Magical light powers. We got new technology.
We're wearing the same outfit.
We got jean jackets.
Same outfit.
Jean boys.
Couple of denim buddies.
You know, usually they pad my chairs.
pals.
Did you get extra pads in your chairs? You're
I'm
way taller
sitting
than
on
me.
sandbags.
That's not fair.
Yeah, I am way taller than you because I am way taller than you.
If I did the show,
Sit down.
Just do the show up here.
Hi everybody, welcome to Up at Noon Live. I'm Max Scoville. This is Brian Altano. He's cosplaying as me today.
Hi, how are you?
His wig hasn't come in from that weird Singapore eBay shop.
Hey,
He's getting
you
all
don't
this
you don't own
cosplay
jean,
hair.
okay? I have a lot of jean stuff. I have a lot of dark jean stuff. You didn't invent the jean. I want
Yeah,
to give
but
a.
they don't know that.
I don't
They
care
know
what
that I
they-
didn't invent the gene.
I want to give us a special shout out to our sponsor today, mustard. That's good stuff you can put in your sandwiches, make it taste real hot and spicy and a little strange. They come in a lot of different flavors, but only one color, and that's kind of like a weird ochre.
The mustard comes in a few different colors. And IGN
Off to a real good start today.
Has streaming on a lot of different platforms.
That's right.
That's right. You can watch what we're doing on IGN.com. You can watch on YouTube, Twitch, PS4, Xbox One apps, or Roku. A lot of you guys apparently watch on your phones, which is awesome.
Yep.
I love the idea that you're like, man, I am at work, but I sure have to go to the bathroom, and then you're in there for an hour every Thursday.
straight
you
up
have to make
dunking.
a weird excuse to your coworkers about why you're in the bathroom for an hour every Thursday at noon. Anyway, we are following along with the mean things that some of you have to say about us, and the really nice things that others of you have to say about us on Twitch and on YouTube and on Twitter.
I have an announcement. There's a really big fly in the studio.
Yeah, that's right.
He's our special. That's him. That was him. Did you see? Did you see that? There's a huge fly in here. This is the kind of conditions we got to deal with. So, Max, what is this show? What are we doing here today?
Up at Noon is a live show that we do every Thursday. It also gets recorded so that we can. Can you just pay it? You're like a house cat. Can you just pay attention to me and not the fly? Sometimes because it's live, there are live things in the studio like a fly.
Like a real animal.
Last week we had a disgusting Pikachu piñata.
Yep.
That has been killed, literally murdered. And if you want to see that happening, there's an IGN channel on Snapchat. If you're into that, it's actually really awesome. It's kind of like a little tiny interactive video multimedia magazine that gets updated every day.
Yep.
And we do really weird stuff in there. One thing that we have is this awful abomination. Yeah. What are you doing there, buddy? What you doing? They sent us this. I don't know what this is. This is called a for real friend, which is like
Look at that.
a robot unicorn is very far from for real as far as I can.
What a
I
cute
can
little
tell.
friend that is.
I want to skin this thing. I want to
Yeah.
take off.
Do you guys want to
its
hear?
fur.
Are you guys watching at home? You want to hear a cool noise?
Are you gonna just push it off? The thing weighs like 7 pounds. Okay, we sort of do topical stuff here. Sometimes we goof around. I hope that's okay. If that makes you infuriated, I'm sorry. It's still going. It's still making noise.
It didn't
Okay.
die.
So, as a lot of you guys know, I am a huge fan of Avatar, and we finally have some actual real Avatar news. So we are going to go right into Avatar.
You don't start.
Avatar is the best segment in this show. Everyone likes Avatar. Every episode, we talk about Avatar.
No,
so if
you
you
don't.
are an Avatar fan like me, keep it right here on IGN, because Avatar is the only place you can find Avatar news.
You don't start the show with Avatar. You don't do that.
I
okay?
just did, Brian.
No, that's not-
I just did.
You don't get me in here.
So-
we put on our coats. We get all comfy. We turn a monkey into Guy Fieri.
Brian, listen.
You get to invite a
I know
fly.
I know you like to boss me around sometimes, but we're actually going to be talking about some Avatar today.
Oh, really? Oh, we
There's
got
some
actual real news.
So
Is that it?
For a quick bit of a catch-up, Avatar is a great film. Here are the characters from it. This is Neytiri and Jake Sully.
Yeah,
They
that's
are the
garbage and trash.
Hero and heroine of the Na'vi people in the Avatar film.
dumb
the best
adult
movie
Smurfs.
ever made. Just this week, some amazing news popped up. John Landau, the producer of Avatar, revealed some brand new Avatar 2 concept
Wow.
art on his official Twitter
That's
account.
it. This is what you got. You got this drawing of Darth Maul from DeviantArt.
This gives us so much insight into what they're going to be doing in Avatar 2.
No, it doesn't.
I have long since held on to the theory that much as the first Avatar film took place on land, I believe that Avatar 2 will take viewers into the oceans of Pandora, deep below the sea.
What are you talking about? It's just an unfinished
James
drawing.
Cameron is a big, big fan of Under the Water, and this has gotten me thinking. Here we've got this bizarre image of what seems like maybe
It's not a bizarre image. It's literally a child's drawing of one of the cats from that dumb movie.
It's a face of one of the Na'vi. It appears to be Neytiri. And
Stop showing that picture.
She is on what looks like, it could just be toned paper. It could be just brown paper. But I think this is more detailed than we realize. I think this is a little bit of a hint that in Avatar 2, the Na'vi will learn that they have underwater camouflage powers.
That's not camouflage.
Much like this.
What
fish.
are you talking? It's just a drawing that somebody didn't finish.
Brian, I want you to look really closely at this image. Can you spot the fish here?
Yeah, it's the whole picture. It's literally 85% of the picture.
I know it's difficult to make it out because fish have incredible camouflage abilities. It's kind of amazing.
I really hate you.
And really, this image was posted on the official John Landau Twitter account. This
Oh,
is
really?
This is a real
Really?
thing.
Actually, I have a news story right here. It says media gets
is there-
snookered by fake John Landau Twitter account and photos of Avatar 2. What do we have here? Interesting. As Abraham Lincoln said in the 1860, the problem with quotes and photos on the internet is that you should never verify their authenticity. There is 100%. This is garbage. This is a lie. This is not a real drawing. This is some crap a fake account tweeted.
I will go to John Landau's official Twitter account right now, twitter.com/Team John Landau.
let's take a look.
One of
Let's
your
take a
best
look.
sources for Avatar News. His account has been suspended.
Oh.
Team John Landau's Twitter account has been suspended.
Yeah, because
I
this
believe
is fake.
this is undeniable information that this is a real image, and he probably panicked and deleted his whole account because he couldn't just take down that one post.
This is undeniable information that you're an idiot and that this movie is terrible and nobody cares anymore. Long live Avengers, Jurassic World, and Star Wars. They're gonna knock this film out of the top 5. They're gonna knock it in the top 20. It's gonna be stuck behind some bootleg black and white version of Gone with the Wind. It's not even gonna make the top 100 most money-making movies of all time. Avatar is garbage. You're an idiot. John Landau's dumb, and so is his fake account.
I also can't wait for Avatar 2.
Shut up.
I believe it's coming 2016.
What else do we
but
have?
Let's hang tight. All right, so
This
on to
dumb
another
unicorn's
story.
been yelling at
can
us
we
the
get
entire-
unicorn. I don't know if you guys hear that. If you can, it
I'll
really
get it.
kinda makes things
I'll get this
scary.
thing
You
out
wanna
of
get
here.
it?
Yeah, I'm gonna get this damn
Show
thing
off
out
your
of here.
denim pants too there.
Get this damn thing out of here. This stupid
Yeah,
unicorn.
thank you guys for watching.
Off of this dumb
We do
show.
some weird stuff here.
Get
it's
out.
Really,
Shut up.
It's really horrifying. It just sits there twitching. Did you forget where the door is? It's still in the studio.
It
We can
won't
throw it out
stop.
the door. Just thank you, Zach.
It won't stop talking.
It does not talking. It's just giggling and farting and stuff.
Get it out of here.
Just make it leave.
It's supposed to be a fun show.
No, this happens on the Larry King show all the time.
It's supposed to be about the news.
He gets an animatronic horse on the show.
We're supposed to talk about all the video game news. That's what the people want. They want
Okay,
the news
so
about the video games.
you know that show The Simpsons that's been on for our entire lives?
Yeah. And
You know how it's still on?
Yeah.
And it's basically like a loved relative that's on life support?
Yeah.
What if people you didn't like kept going into that comatose relative's hospital bedroom and putting that loved one into awful poses and then posting photos publicly?
So you're saying that The Simpsons is basically Weekend at Bernie's 3 through 30?
It's like a not funny weekend. Well, yeah, okay.
80s babies don't remember that, but that was a movie about 2 guys that wanted to get a bank loan, and they used their dead boss's body, and they draped it all around Miami, and they went to cool parties and hung out with ladies with nice gazongas, and then they threw them in the water.
Thank you for the context.
Great films.
So, yeah, The Simpsons, I'm kind of a purist in that sense. A lot of people I know who are our age, I'm sure there still are plenty of people who watch The Simpsons. A lot of people are like, no, it's gotten better. Yeah, except a lot of the times it really isn't. It's announced that this upcoming season 180 or whatever they're on at this point, they're going to be just eviscerating and just destroying one of the longest running jokes in The Simpsons kind of canon.
Which one?
Waylon Smithers, Mr. Burns' personal assistant.
Yep.
He's gay. Like that's been kind of the bit, but they've never come out and said that. It's always been kind of like a wink and a nod. Like he turns on his computer and it's like, why, hello Smithers, you're quite good at turning me on.
Right.
Or, he just coincidentally collects Barbie dolls. Or just really weird kind of campy stuff, and he's always kind of like, like it's the end of the world, and he kisses Mr. Burns and he's like, oh, I did that out of respect, sir. It's always kind of like, it's always been tongue in cheek. Because, when The Simpsons
or
first...
tongue in mouth.
Sure, that works too. When The Simpsons started up in 1989 or whenever it was, 88, it was less okay for homosexual characters on primetime TV.
Yeah, there were very few. We didn't have like shows like Will and Grace and Survivor.
So The Simpsons has been on long enough that it's sort of like, it's almost funnier at this point that he is still in the closet, But because they ran out of ideas 13 years ago, they're going to do a bit about how Smithers is coming out. Like, that's the premise for the show, for the kind of the linchpin gag for one episode. I hate this. I believe that The Simpsons died in the episode where they decided that Principal Skinner wasn't Principal Skinner. Mm-hmm. Remember that? Where they're like, oh, he's Armin Tanzarian. The real Principal Skinner is going to show up. He's a totally different character. And it just takes this character who you've been with for like the better part of a decade at that point. And they were like, hey, guess what? We lied about him the entire time. And then they end that episode by being like, just kidding, but not really, but really. And then it's like, why did you do that? There's that other episode where Edna Krabappel and Principal Skinner have been dating for like, I don't know, 11 years at that point. Like that, they spent like slowly, episode by episode, building up this romance between this school teacher and this principal, and it was like kind of a background affair. Like it wasn't something that they were like beating you over the head with. It was like people for people who are watching the show slowly, and then out of nowhere they're like, hey, what if we had it so that the comic book guy dated her? That could be funny. Like for an episode, that was the premise of it. And this is the same deal where they're just like, they're not characters anymore. The Simpsons hasn't been used for characters for a while. They take existing characters and use them as vessels for jokes, which is just bad and lazy. And like, it makes me really sad.
It's kind of like what they did with us on this show.
Yeah, exactly. We're just vessels for we're not even characters. I don't know. I love The Simpsons to death.
So let me ask you this. I mean, like it is like the longest running sitcom on TV, and maybe like we're thinking about it like that too much. But maybe it's more like Marvel Comics, where they can just come in one day and be like, oh, here's an arc, and it doesn't matter. And
hey,
it doesn't...
that's actually a really good point.
Yeah.
You know Jubilee?
Yeah.
You know she's a vampire?
No.
You know she has a kid?
No.
Yeah. Well, she does. There's the two things about the Marvel universe that they went in and changed. You know Wolverine died?
I mean, yeah, like a lot, probably.
Yeah,
right?
it's a repeat. I don't know, but yeah, like Spider-Man's an Avenger now. That's actually a kind of interesting point.
I mean, to me, I grew up watching The Simpsons, and I used to be in the same grade as Bart, and then I wasn't anymore, and then he still was, and then I became an old man.
And suddenly you're the same age as Homer.
Yeah, and I'm the same age as Homer, but Homer's the same, and
same shape as Homer.
Yeah, same shape. Same hair. But I think it was weird. Like there was one year where Bart like actually graduated his class, and we went on to the next class, but then he got left back, or there was some sort of time warp thing. It's the way it always happens. Every sitcom sort of just ends in a high five, freeze frame. Everyone's clapping and smiling and stuff like that. Nothing doesn't get resolved by the end. And when The Simpsons kind of started to jump the shark to me was when they started introducing these character arcs that would kill off characters, or who did Maggie murder, or spoilers.
What is that noise?
I don't know. It's like
it's a really weird noise.
The ceiling's farting.
A weird noise in this office.
So I don't know. I think it's been really hard for us growing up because we want to go back to The Simpsons every single time it's on, or which isn't even that often, right? Like it's a kind of show you want to check in on like once every 6 months or a year. It's kind of nice knowing it's there, but you also get mad knowing that they're running it into the ground. I want to turn it on and check into it and know that they're still doing jokes about Smithers like being tongue-in-cheek gay and not just straight up there he is.
Yeah. I guess there's a certain kind of legacy and pedigree that comes with The Simpsons. Like when it was at its best, it was at its best. It was really, really good, and there wasn't anything it never the new generations of writers who came in never really did their own thing with it. They were still kind of adhering to this like really awful style guide. I'd say South Park does a really good job of kind of maintaining it's also the same two guys doing it,
right?
But they have different writers coming in and out. They try different stuff. They'll kill off characters. They'll make characters gay. They'll make characters get sex changes. They'll do like incredibly weird stuff, and they commit to it, But it's less of like, I think they know that it's a trashy gag to be like, we're doing this thing with this character. But in the case of The Simpsons, it still feels pretty tawdry, and I just am really excited about that series being over. I'd be cool if it just died forever.
It's happening soon, right? 30th season, last one. That's what it sounds like.
Well, that's good news. Now, speaking of things that are dying off, here's sort of a weird one. We've been kind of pussyfooting around the reality of whether or not this is the last Metal Gear game helmed by Hideo Kojima, who created the series in 1987.
Mm-hmm. It looks like he's looking at me.
Yeah, well, Hideo can see you. He's right there. He's looking at you. In those stylish JF Ray frames. So I don't know how I feel about this. I'm still playing Metal Gear Solid 5. I think it might be my favorite game.
Yeah.
I'm really, really in love with this game. It makes me really happy. It's just, it feels like a game I've wanted my entire life.
I haven't finished it yet, but a lot of people are sort of mad at how the game, spoilers, kind of abruptly ends and doesn't really kind of finish a lot of stuff. I completely agree with you that the sort of like in and out day-to-day gameplay loop of actually playing it is immensely fun. It is so rewarding. It's so consistently just joyful and goofy and also like gritty, which is like a weird mix. It's like usually things like that don't happen.
Yeah.
You know, it's like having like really spicy chicken nuggets or something. You're like, these are fun, but they're also like,
what am I eating?
Very dangerous.
They're shaped like children's animals, but
it's sort of become this weird swan song for where Konami is heading as a video game company. And me, as an 80s baby, I grew up playing, games like Castlevania. And I grew up seeing that logo, that Konami logo. They at one point even spun off a game company called Ultra, which they faked, to create more games for the NES because they were making so many good console games at the same time that they had to actually come up with a pen name, which is ridiculous. But nowadays, we don't really see that anymore. A lot of their franchises are pretty much dead. We've seen Castlevania, which is one of their flagship franchises, just pretty much like die in the weirdest like kind of ups and down deaths over the years. There was like a 3DS version. There was a fighting game. There was like a Wii game that used motion controls. And it's just like, I love Castlevania. I love Metal Gear. Like, these are really cool franchises, but I don't think we're gonna ever see them again in the same way. That being said, Konami came out and said straight up, so there's no more speculation, that Metal Gear is pretty much their last console game. And it's a good note to end on, but what happens from here? Like, where do things go?
Yeah, I mean, Konami is a company, they like money. It's tricky because they're a Japanese company, and sometimes there's like a more kind of like a...
they like yen over there.
They like yen, there's that. But I think they're less likely to sort of farm out a franchise and be like, here, we trust you with it, you take it. It's kind of, seems kind of, I can't really imagine Konami being like, yeah, we'll let you use the Metal Gear license to do your own thing.
Well, it's something like you see Nintendo doing a lot. They're sort of like, hey, Rare, you can have Star Fox.
Right.
Or hey, Capcom, you can have Zelda. Or hey, Platinum, you can, or Metroid Other M. I don't even want to bring that one up.
Well, I mean, the thing is,
Team Ninja.
I love Metal Gear Solid 5. I love what Kojima's created. I also think that there's I don't know how he'd top it. I don't know what he would do I think he needs to be set free from the Metal Gear franchise. I feel like he's been making new games that are titled Metal Gear for a really long time and kind of sort of trying to shoehorn them into the same universe so it sort of loops things together. But I'd love to see what he does when he doesn't have that safety net, like when he is forced to use a blank canvas that isn't attached to a different canvas that already has stuff all over it.
Yeah, I agree.
Look at George Lucas. Like, everyone was like, I mean, I'm not comparing Metal Gear Solid 5 to the prequels by any means, but the whole thing is that Lucas was trying to like make something that was in the same universe of the prequels, and it's sort of like, I kind of want to see what happens when somebody else takes the wheel, and that's what Episode 7 is looking really cool because it's a bunch of people who grew up loving the thing that he made. What happens if you give the Metal Gear franchise to people who love Metal Gear, and they have an idea for what they want to do, but they're also respectful of it, and they're give it to
another game producer, right? Another like a AAA game director. Two things can happen there. One is that we get double prizes, right? The thing splits off. Kojima goes off and does his own new games, and Konami takes the Metal Gear franchise and they throw it to somebody new and they explore side stories and stuff like that. The George Lucas thing is weird because J.J. Abrams is going to take over Star Wars, and he's doing an awesome job with it from what we've seen so far. But then George Lucas went on to do like that weird like Fern Gully animated movie that bombed in theaters this year. So you're not exactly getting a lot out of him either, but he's probably the kind of guy you want to put away after 3 really bad Star Wars movies.
Yeah.
Or 2.5 really bad Star Wars movies. So I think best case scenario is that we're going to keep getting one good series of games out of this. Either Kojima goes on to make more really awesome stuff, wildly original, and it's not using all the characters that he's created and ran with for decades, or Konami takes the characters we love and they put them in somebody's hands. Ultimate worst case scenario, Kojima goes on to make really bad games, and Konami runs the Metal Gear franchise into the ground. And then it's just turds everywhere. Yeah, what can you do about that?
We still have the Phantom Pain.
That's right.
Which is an awesome game.
Nothing can take that away.
I love this game so much that I made something very special. I decided to make a trailer for what this game would have been if it was a movie released in the 1980s. Let's take a look.
The The year is 1984. 9 years have passed since they took everything he had and left him for dead. But now Snake is back, better than ever, and he's out for revenge. His hunt will take him from the wilds of Afghanistan to the deepest African jungles. And on the way, he'll assemble a crack team of operatives, the Diamond Dogs. Snake is more lethal than ever, whether striking from under the cover of darkness or setting the battlefield ablaze. And he'll do whatever it takes to bring down the sinister organization known only as Cypher. When they've taken everything from you, what remains? From director Hideo Kojima comes the Metal Gear Saga's thrilling conclusion, The Phantom Pain. Available soon on video cassette.
Yeah.
So I've been at IGN for 6 years. I think that is my favorite thing we've ever done here. That is so. How the hell did you put that together? Seriously.
So I don't know. I don't know how to do that. I guess I always look for familiar imagery in movies and games and stuff. There's a lot of that in Metal Gear. What I always loved about the series is you look at the first one, it's Escape from New York meets Escape from LA meets The Rock.
Yeah.
Like underwater incursion or whatever, and it's got so much like old action movie DNA in it, which is what I grew up watching. So to kind of be like, hey, I'm gonna replace these characters with these familiar things, and then kind of throw some
You sort of like
an Instagram filter on it.
You sort of like tore apart the entire franchise based on the things it was built on and built it back up. I really love that.
Yeah, well,
looked
thanks.
really, really awesome.
Yeah, one of these days maybe we'll sit down and hash out all the weird little familiar bits and pieces of, like, I mean, Kojima says on his Twitter account, he's like, my body is 90% movies or something, and I like, that's kind of, I mean, you don't.
I feel like that about pizza for my body. We went on Twitter using the hashtag Up at Noon. We asked you what you want in the next Metal Gear game, and the results might shock you. Mandy, as Mr. Robot, says Kojima. Well, I don't know if that's gonna happen. Spooky Scary Jake says David Hayter. Man, people don't like when things change. And Daniel Green says more water pistols. I am totally for that.
Water pistol was one of the best things they added to that game.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't
we had a
think
good
that
time
was
with
in
that.
previous ones, but yeah, it's really useful. You can turn out fires. You can silently mess up some radio communication stuff.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good
No, it's
cheat
got
code.
some uses. Yeah.
Head on over to IGN Cheats. Learn more about fun stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know you can take dog poop in that game and put it in the guy's mouth?
Is that true?
No, it's not true.
That's not true. You can knock a man unconscious and have a horse go to the bathroom all over his face.
That is true.
Yeah.
That is 100% true.
So while we're talking
we
about
should do a
really,
Metal Gear True or False one of these days.
really, really gross stuff. Here's a very weird. Do I not have an image here? I don't have the image here. There's a picture of a messed up police report. Let's see.
Okay.
I'm gonna pull it up here. There we go.
Oh man.
Okay, so if you ever have a problem where you are you did a lot of drinking,
Yeah.
and maybe
there.
you've done so much drinking that the state has ordered that the only way you can drive an automobile is if you do a breathalyzer test that is attached to the steering wheel to start the car. Well, here's a great workaround for that so that you can commit more felonies like a jerk. Catch a raccoon and squeeze it until it breathes into the breathalyzer, starting the engine of the car. This is a real police report until somebody proves it is not on the internet using.
This looks like if MacGyver had gone on for as many seasons as The Simpsons.
This feels like something you can do in Metal Gear Solid 5. So the guy, this guy's he's Navy enlisted. He's at a bar.
Utilized the raccoon.
He's hammered. He tries to get in his car. He can't start the car because he's too drunk.
Yeah.
So he goes out into a nearby park, catches a raccoon, brings it to his car, and squeezes it like an accordion so it blows into the breathalyzer, and it works! And he starts the car, but he's got this unconscious raccoon that he has choked out, so it's unconscious on the floorboard next to him. But then it wakes up in the midst of him drunk driving and starts attacking him. And so he drives his car into the side of a house. Is that like the most...
Seriously, that is a deleted scene from Van Wilder 4.
What?
Like that is so incredible and stupid and amazing. Also, if you're first of all, never drive drunk.
Yes.
Don't
No,
ever do
that is
that.
the
Like,
step one.
get an app on your phone that will call somebody to pick you up, get some friends, or just walk it off, you piece of garbage. Number two, if you're the kind of guy that drives drunk, maybe don't buy one of those cars that has a breathalyzer to start
I
it.
don't think he bought it. I think that was probably court ordered.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that they don't really, you don't go out on a Kia and be like, hey, I want one of those challenge cars where I have to unlock it using a...
So, I'm a disaster, and I need one of those real tough cars that'll make it almost impossible to do the thing I do every
that's
night.
just like, that's so cool. Like,
Did this raccoon live?
Data, I don't know, did they go into that? The vehicle came to a complete stop in an in-ground swimming pool. The suspect sustained numerous scratches and bite marks on his hand, face, stomach, and arms.
I really like that sentence. The vehicle came to a complete stop in an in-ground swimming pool. That is very redundant. Usually when people drive into an in-ground swimming pool, the car doesn't keep driving.
You know that saying, life imitates art?
Yeah.
I think in 2015, life imitates GTA mods.
Yeah.
That's a real weird story.
Man.
I love raccoons, if anybody didn't know that.
Yep, big fan.
Yeah, so that's a good story. We had
Little
to tell
garbage
that, tell
bears.
that to you. We also like Star Wars. We're big Star Wars fans.
Shocking.
Big old jerks.
Is this our first episode with that Star Wars junk all over the desk?
There's probably some somewhere around here. I don't know.
No, there really isn't, Max.
Weird.
We're really screwing up.
That's weird.
The
Here's
Force is
something
inside
that
us, though.
We really want to get. ThinkGeek has announced that there is now an inflatable life-size Jabba the Hutt that is used as the same technology as those awful lawn Santas.
That's not technology. Balloons.
It's not a balloon. It's like a parachute pants that has a fan hooked up to it.
I don't know about I don't know about this one. Does it have the big air?
Yeah, it has a little fan built in.
Okay.
This thing is like $160, and if you
Yep.
want to, there's a lot of uses for it. I'm gonna have a Star Wars birthday party. I think I'm gonna try to get one of these for it. But
Yep.
if you really want to scare somebody, that's a pretty upsetting thing to walk in on.
So I have this weird thing
There's
that
definitely some sexual applications.
Yeah, I think you could probably have some stuff on top of that if you're into.
Yeah.
I think it's funny because if you turn it sideways and around, it looks like a giant ice cream cone that has a growth on it.
Yeah, I can see that.
It's also, I've always wanted to take something like this and inflate it in a very small confined area like a car with the windows just slightly cracked ajar so that Jabba's just kind of like and spilling out all over the sides. I'm real sick in the head.
Yeah.
But this thing looks really cool. Actually, I really wish we could get an entire... Jabba's Palace is my favorite part of any Star Wars movie. I was just watching Return of the Jedi over the weekend because I was just real tired that day. I hung out with you.
Like, we're trying to figure out what it is about Jabba's Palace that's like kind of special.
Yeah.
I've always thought it was like kind of a bigger version of the cantina scene.
Yep.
But I think the reality is the cantina scene is like a dive bar.
Yeah.
And Jabba's Palace is like a really rich guy's party that's just full of the worst people.
Yeah, the cantina scene is basically just like, it's like an episode of Cheers that went a little weird. Or it's just like you go to like watch football on a Sunday at a sports bar and it's just a bunch of people being like, keep it down. But Jabba's Palace is like a dangerous, terrifying place. It's not just like, oh, we might get in a bar fight, not the old Western saloon thing. It's like, it's something you would see, in the middle of Scarface.
Well, I love that, like, there is that, it is very like Scarface. It reminds me of like Boogie Nights. And it's not so much like, stuff gets messed up in the cantina. Like a dude gets his arm cut off.
Yeah.
And they call the cops, and the cops show up, and like Obi-Wan's like, we should probably peace out because I maimed a man.
Yep.
I cut off an Aqualish's arm. Like, that's awful. But like there are authorities that come in.
Yeah.
Jabba's Palace is like he's got a house up in the hills, and like they can make all the noise they want to make.
Yeah, there's no cops up there. There's no
cops.
stormtroopers
If cops
up there.
show up, he's gonna be like, "Oh yeah, sorry, officer, false alarm. We'll keep it down."
Or like,
He's straight up-
stand right there. I'll sign your noise complaint, and then the trap door opens.
No, and he's like, "Yo, you wanna come take a look at what we got going on here? It's fine." And then he's just like, "Just cover up the Rancor pit, hide the giant monster that we feed people." They have a hungover brunch on his boat. They're like, "Hey, let's go out on the yacht and have some mimosas and then kill people by throwing them into a hole."
Which is like, that's why I know Halloween's just around the corner, or Christmas, or whatever this sort of. See, he's not even like a seasonal monster. Like, that's the weird thing about him. Like, ThinkGeek's rolling him out for the holidays to put next to your Santa Claus and stuff like that. But in terms of characters you can put on your lawn, I mean, there are some weird ones, right? Like, Halloween rolls out, and people put the devil, and skulls, and Guy Fieri, and all sorts of monsters. But Jabba the Hutt is a slave owner that kills women using a human, like a living trash compactor.
I bet you this fake Halloween rat that ThinkGeek will bust out a Wampa or Tauntaun for Christmas using the same technology.
Oh, see, now a Wampa...
Because you're going to decorate your yard for snowy stuff. Jabba's like, whatever. He makes sense on a lawn during the Halloween time or just whenever the hell.
A Wampa I can understand. A Wampa is a seasonal bear that was basically protecting its cave on an isolated planet that no rebels or empire should have been on to begin with.
I'm not asking you to explain what a Wampa is.
No, I'm saying,
Everyone knows what a Wampa is.
Shut up, Max. I'm trying to justify this within the context of Christmas. And Christmas.
They don't have Christmas in Star Wars. They
A
have
Christmas
Life
Wampa
Day.
makes
They have
sense because there's
Life
snow.
Day.
Okay, he doesn't make as much sense as a frog-eating drug dealer that kills women. You don't put that on your lawn, kids. I mean,
right.
I might, because I don't care.
On that note, we have our favorite series, the most popular series we've ever made on the show, Two Dumb Jedi. Let's
The
take a look.
final episode of Two Dumb Jedi. You guys hate it so much that we're never doing it again until right now.
We're all a bunch of Darth Vaders. You've killed off the Jedi. Let's take a look.
Roll it.
Yo, check this out.
How'd you do that?
Modded my lightsaber.
Oh, really?
Yeah, anything you want. So basically, you swap out the crystals, you can put anything you want in there. This is the Pink Panther. Hot. Hot like the Miami Knights.
I don't get it. What else did it do?
I got a whole bunch of different color waves in here.
Huh.
Baby yellow,
Huh. Okay.
baby blue,
All right.
hot neon orange.
Oh. That's normally for the bad guys.
Right.
We don't get those. We just get blue and green.
This is a weird one.
That one guy has purple. But
You're
like,
feeling sad, check this out. Red.
that's just like a different color blue, I feel like.
Well, it's like if you're having a rough day.
I hear you'd brick it doing that. You can ruin it so it doesn't turn on at all.
Okay?
Like, you're not supposed to do that because it'll like, void the warranty.
No one is checking this shit, man. Are you kidding me?
Does it do anything else, or is it just mod
Yeah,
it
I mean,
to
I switch out
Pokemon?
the crystals. It's obviously more than that.
I mean, like, that's the thing is I kind of like having that reliability. Like, sure, it's just regular, boring old blue, but like I use it for doing, just doing like regular stuff.
The man. It's my hand.
Sorry. They'll give me a new one. This happens.
You cut off my
Don't
hand.
have to make a thing out of it.
And we're back. We asked you guys on Twitter which Star Wars characters you want living in your house. Weird question, but what are you gonna do? VGB, that's David Webb, says definitely not Chewie. Can you imagine how clogged the drains would get with all that hair? Yeah,
That's assuming that he bathes. I bet it would just be like having just 5 German shepherds stacked on top of each other, and you probably don't do a whole lot of bathing of them because they're real. They probably rip your arms off.
He would probably smell like a 7-foot walking rug that a bunch of animals constantly pee
You know
on.
what would smell worse?
Is every single Ewok. That's what Elias wants. He wants all of them. I think there's like dozens, right? There's a lot of Ewoks. And finally, Jeremy says Jar Jar so I can leash him up and keep him away from the public's eyes. Well, the Star Wars franchise has actually done that for you.
Bring out
for
the
many
Gungan.
moons now.
Put the Gungan sleeping. I guess you have to go wake him up then,
That's
won't
right.
you?
What else we got? Maxie Boy, Dirty Dog, Big Old Baby Cakes.
What's wrong with you?
I don't know. I'm trying to be nice. Trying to be cool.
So here's a weird thing. The presence of single-player campaigns in predominantly multiplayer played games such as Call of Duty have been sort of not a bone of contention, but just like who is this for?
Yeah.
They obviously throw a ton of money at it. It was announced that Black Ops 3, which is coming to obviously current gen and PC, is also going to come to last gen. And on last gen, it's only going to be multiplayer. So if you have a PS3 and an Xbox 360 and you are a fan of the single player experience of Call of Duty, sorry, that's it. You don't get it.
Yeah, they're basically saying that if you want to play single player, you have to catch up with the times and buy a new console, which is like a little unfair. I've always been asking for a sort of split version of these two games where I can buy the single player and kind of run through it in a couple hours and then delete it instead of spending $60 on a game that I'm not really going to play because I'm not really big on a lot of online
This
multiplayer.
isn't like the only time we've seen this either. Obviously, Rainbow Six Siege,
Yep,
also multiplayer only. Star Wars Battlefront,
multiplayer only.
that's a big thing
Yeah.
too. Then of course there is what's the other? There's Titanfall. Titanfall, they were like, actually we're crafting a narrative that's woven into the multiplayer experience so that it feels like you're part. And it's like you don't have that. It's just a multiplayer game, which is okay, but you kind of have to be upfront about that. I feel like. We just showing. Oh, this is the future is black again.
That's right.
Yeah.
No, I'm kind of with you on this. I grew up playing single player games with friends, like with people in the same room, like because I feel like we're at this point in time where video games can contend movies in terms of cinematic scope, in terms of story, voice acting, and like I think it's kind of a waste to get voice actors to come in to just go like reloading. Flank left! Like, you get famous professional voice actors and you come in and they just yell sound effects you would hear from two-thirds into a military movie. I feel like it's a huge missed opportunity. We build these fantastic engines with some of the most beautiful graphics in the world. We create all these assets, and they aren't used for anything very compelling outside of running around in circles and killing people. I know a lot of people enjoy that loop, right? I'm not putting you down for that. I think that's totally fine.
I think it was a couple years ago, Kotaku did a thing where they reached out to a bunch of indie developers,
Yeah.
and they were like, "How would you make a Call of Duty game?" And of course, it's kind of troll bait, kind of just riling up the Call of Duty crowd because they don't want anything like that to happen.
Right.
But one really stuck with me. I can't remember whose idea this was, but it was like a Call of Duty game that's where you play as a war photographer. So you're like in the midst of a huge, giant, massive firefight, but you don't have a gun, you have a camera. So it's sort of a stealth game, but it's like really gory, messed up Pokemon Snap.
Yeah, I was about to say that's. I mean,
Right?
God, I
I
love
mean,
that.
And we've seen stuff like that. Like there's, I don't know, what is it? Like Far Cry has a camera. You sometimes take pictures in there.
So here's what I want though, right? I want stuff like that to exist alongside the regular multiplayer Call of Duty that comes out every single year. That people love and enjoy. I don't want to take that from people. That's the thing. Like, I feel like on our side of predominantly enjoying single player, things are getting taken from us, right? Like Star Wars Battlefront, it is gorgeous looking, and we're going to play it for a few days, and then we're going to be like, well, I didn't get all the perks, or I didn't upgrade as fast as everybody else. Everyone's beating me. But in terms of taking that game and building an awesome single player out of it, it's not going to happen. Same with Rainbow Six. Like, I love how that game looks. It's gorgeous. Like the idea of like raiding in one of those houses for the first time and having a story behind it. Like you need to extract a
I would just
a
be cool
prisoner
if
or
they just
whatever.
opened it up for modding and made it so that people are making like weird sitcom games where you're just like the SWAT team family.
Sure.
like-
Something, anything
Why
but
can
nothing.
somebody do that? Like the Rainbow Six family, and it's like the Partridge family, but they live in this house and they're constantly blowing it up with drywall grenades.
See, that's already more story than is going into most multiplayer games.
Yeah.
nowadays.
Also, it's kind of ironic that it's like a Tom Clancy property
Yeah.
who was a writer of books, which are these weird linear narrative experiences that people used to. Anyway.
Yeah, like what's your favorite multiplayer book?
Yeah.
Right? So we went on Twitter and
Mad
we
Libs.
asked what
Mad
your
Libs is the answer to
Mad
that.
Libs is actually that's a great answer. Using the hashtag up at noon, does every game need a single player mode? Landon Kalino says, does every game need a multiplayer mode? Damn, he spun that right around in our faces. Man, real good. No, you're right. Do they? I don't think they do. Like Tomb Raider a couple years ago had this really tacked on multiplayer mode. Uncharted has a multiplayer mode that like is not really. A lot of people get into it. That's not really what I'm there for. Richard Bilbao says, no, but a game like, say, Rainbow Six, which was based on an author's creation, would be nice. I get that. That's exactly what we're saying here today, Richard Bilbao. And Terrence Pryor says, yes, because some of us are lonely losers who always get kicked out of lobbies because they're not cool. I don't think that makes you a loser, Terrence. I think that makes you just a person that just enjoys a good story that they want to read by themselves or enjoy by themselves. And if you get kicked out of lobbies, screw those people. Don't go to those lobbies. Go somewhere else.
I like the idea of
Come over
taking
here.
that-
We'll
taking
bring
that
you in.
literally and not knowing that he's referring to a multiplayer lobby and like he's just in a real trendy hotel and they're like, excuse me, sir.
You stink.
We don't allow jeans in this lobby.
You smell like a bag of trash. Get out of my house.
Are you staying with us, sir? You're gonna have to leave.
That's right.
Real sassy people.
So I don't want to see single player die. I want to fight for it forever. So
Hey.
email your favorite congressman and game devs and let them know that single player is important to you before it goes away forever.
Speaking of this, you know what's a game that came out recently that didn't have a single player or multiplayer? Tony Hawk. We played a little bit of it, but we made up our own story.
I think it had both of those.
It's
things.
about, it did, but you had to download them in a big old patch.
That's true. On day one, it didn't have
It had a
either of those
tutorial and
things.
a part creator. Yeah, it's the Up and Noon Challenge.
What did we do this time? We
We tried to get Lil Wayne as high as possible.
Yep, and we really
Literally.
heard him. Let's take a look.
Hey, what's up, guys? I'm Brian, and this is Max.
Hello.
You are watching Up at Noon Live, and this is the Up at Noon Challenge. Today we're playing Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5. It is the 5th in the previously annualized Pro Skater series. We're playing as famous rapper Lil Wayne, and he's on a skateboard for the first and probably last time in his life, because that looked horrific.
Yeah.
Today our challenge is to really just hurt Lil Wayne as much as
We
possible.
are going to see how high Lil Wayne can get.
Yeah, we're going to get him up real
where's-
high, and then we're going to drop him. Let's
Where's the damn swimming pool? Here we go.
Let's
get
cause
outside.
pain to Lil Wayne. This is the Lil Wayne pain box. Let's get in there. Oh man, here we go. Oh! You can just feel his
All right,
chin
all
just
right,
grind down the side
all
of
right.
that wall. Oh,
I blew up a swag crate.
what? Where are you go?
Okay.
You helicoptered out of there. That was great. Max, are you a Lil Wayne fan?
I mean, you know, I like a couple songs. I
Yeah.
think he's a real special dude. I like the interview with him where they ask him what's in his cup and he gets real mad. Have you seen that one?
where they're like, what are you drinking? And he's like, he goes on this like 7-minute rant about how it's nobody's business what's in his cup. More importantly, what is in his cup? Because how is he doing that?
I think there's some magic in his cup. That is like
being able to just. It's stuck in his hair.
You got a skateboard stuck in Lil Wayne's head.
And people say video games are boring and stupid. I don't know who says that.
No, I mean, I don't think a lot of people do. Oh God, that looked like it hurt so bad.
Wow, I love that it like readjusts.
I
where
know,
he
and
is.
you're like leaning, you're like, hey, I'm Lil Wayne.
Wow.
Wow, that was like an art film. The way you could see the reflection.
Most
in the
of
dirt
this
water.
game is like those slow-mo like GTA death shots.
Oh, that looked like it hurt so bad. Did you see that split and then the? Wow, you landed that move.
To celebrate, I've decided to completely give up on reality. Okay, let's go up in the air.
Oh, you got the E from Tetris. Oh man, this is making me very uncomfortable. Poor Lil Wayne. This is like having $1 million voodoo doll. Okay, here we go. Oh man.
All right, let's get up.
All right, let's get up there. Let's get real high up. Lil Wayne Pain Tower. Let's go. Oh, good catch, Lil Wayne. Oh no, God. So I haven't actually seen you get stuck in the floor yet. That's good.
It's a solid floor.
Yeah, it's pretty good. So our review for this game is probably up by now. I'm guessing it's not a 10. I'm gonna throw that out there. I don't know what it is yet. I can't speak on that. This game was a couple of gigs, and then it had like a 7 gig day one patch, which is a lot.
That's almost just sort of. Some people really still have to pay for their bandwidth, you know. So I feel like that's kind of a weird thing to release as a product.
It's actually a fascinating procedure when I actually see you land a move. Oh, that could have gone anywhere.
What is this gravity?
I don't know. That was very, very disorienting. Dude, you're playing awesome right now. Are you a pro skater?
I'm going to go through this box of
Are
swag.
you pro skater, Lil Wayne?
Yeah, I'm pro. I'm going to go pro next year. Need Dunny down at the skate park doing sick jumps and stunts and tricks. Yeah, flipping it. Jamming it, slamming it, flipping it, squiggling it around real good. That's how you skateboard. Nobody invited me to any parties, so I'm going to go and jump in a skate bowl.
I love that this sad video game about falling into an empty pool just told you have no party invites.
Nobody wants to come to my party because I'm bad at skateboarding.
All right, Max, we have a few moments left. I want you to really finish strong. I want you to get some real hard skull cracks in this Lil Wayne, man. Get that pain going through the Wayne.
He doesn't want to do. He's going to wiggle up on the wiggle board, wiggling and waggling. Wiggle away.
Like, I don't even think they
waggle it around. Right.
I don't even think they mocapped him. I think they just found a picture of him on the internet and they turned it into his face.
You know, there's like those weird like web apps where they're like, take a picture of your friend's face and put it on this thing, and then you can make a singing birthday greeting card.
Uh-huh.
I think that this game is running on that engine.
Oh, look at that! We got very high with Lil Wayne right there. What the hell? Oh man! Wait a minute. So you failed that stunt, and then look at your skateboard. This honestly looks like when you play GTA 5 with like modifiers on.
Yeah.
And all the characters go flying. All right, I want you to just. Oh man. Okay, that was just ugly. One more real hard hit.
One more.
Get him real good. Get that Lil Wayne.
Right in the
Sorry, Lil Wayne. We respect you and your musical career and such, but hurting you in Tony Hawk is hilarious.
There, he's done. He's all tuckered out. I wish you could just make him sit down.
One more real hard smash. Oh, okay.
Somersault.
Well, that's the Up and New Challenge. We really hurt the hell out of Lil Wayne. I'm sorry about that. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5 available now if you want to do bad things to that
He
man's
just went Super
legs.
Saiyan and then broke his ankle.
Keep watching Up at Noon for more awful stuff like this.
The internet.
Welcome back to the show.
A beautiful
that we're
place
doing.
where people can ask us questions and we must answer them.
Yeah,
just like Josh is Legendary did on Twitch. He says, what game yet to be released are you most excited for this year?
Fallout 4.
Fallout?
Easy. Yeah. I mean, like, I'm playing Metal Gear and I'm sort of like, I want to finish Metal Gear. I don't want to do that. I'm gonna fall head over. Like we've seen so little of Fallout 4
Right.
that it's entirely just like, oh, here's a big, huge world. Conversely, like I'll probably play Battlefront, but I feel like I've seen every part of that game. It's just a matter of actually playing it for myself.
Yeah, I actually hadn't thought about that. It feels like we've seen most of the planets, we've seen most of the running around. I think there's scenarios and environments and parts of things we haven't really seen yet. Like there was that part in the Endor trailer where you see him go inside and face Darth Vader for the first
we
time.
haven't really seen a lot of Endor stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You and I did at Star Wars.
Yeah, because we're
Celebration.
real special boys.
Yeah, they put us in a real special box.
We got a letter in the mail that said it's from Star Wars, and the checkbox said, "Do you like us? Yes, no," and we said yes, and then we sent it back, and they invited us on a date to see a new game that's not out yet.
So for me, it's probably the new Tomb Raider game. We heard today that it's going to take 30 to 40 hours to 100% that game, which I don't know if I will. I'm not really like a platinum trophy kind of guy, but I do want to like try to collect everything in that world. I like the fact that I can probably beat that game in a weekend and go back for more if I need it.
That's reasonable, yeah.
Like
I like that.
I'm a little burnt on giant open world games, but I know Fallout's going to totally tear that open. Brick Stash on
hold
Twitch.
on.
Oh, you got one?
I'm reading the YouTube chat. We got to have a dialogue here. Just shouting off questions isn't doing enough. Nicholas Cicitelli says he's excited for Fallout 4, but he said last week that he'd be okay with it being delayed. Yes, because I'm still playing Metal Gear, and there are a lot of other games coming out, and Fallout 4 inevitably will be the game that I fall into. There are a lot of games. It's hard to play them all. Like,
was that your idea of a dialogue where you yelled at this guy?
Yes, I will yell at them. I will fight them. Also, I love the YouTube chat because they're just all shouting out Rule 34 stuff.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, Tony Hawk, Rule 34. And I was like,
I don't think you want to see that. That's a married man.
Tony Hawk has like numerous kids, so clearly there's been some of that in real life. He's done some. There has been Tony Hawk Pro Skater.
Not necessarily.
Real life kissing.
Tony Hawk could have reproduced with all of his clothes on by giving his.
Well, he did do a 1080 that one time.
Brick Stash on Twitch says, "Are we living in a dream?"
I don't know. How about that, huh? We are living in the future.
Wake
though.
up.
Which brings me to our next story, a very special story that I want to tell you all about. There's a product that's on Kickstarter that is a laser razor. It's a real thing that is coming out probably, maybe, unless it doesn't work because it's a Kickstarter. Here's what it looks like. It is called what's it called? The Scarred? I think it's called Scarred.
Yeah.
Scarred, is that it?
Who are these guys?
Yes. I totally
Is
forgot
this a
that.
before and after picture?
Yeah, these are the guys who made it. It's on Kickstarter. It's raised about $2.4 million at this point, which is like, I love how there was a time with Kickstarter when we were like, can you believe this is happening? The idea is it uses a laser to cut through hair on your face, and it is being shown off by these two men who don't appear to be really clean shaven, which is
that's
kind of
very
odd.
The guy on the left has one of your shirts, though. Can you go back to the razors? So I think I want to get the Kylo Ren one. Are you going to get Obi-Wan?
You're a dumb boy. No, like, you clearly don't shave a whole lot. I have a
few
little
days.
electric razor. I'm like, I don't know.
Well, I'm a real man that can grow a beard. I don't
They're
know about
basically
you.
like, hey, we've been shaving the same way for 5,000 years. We should do it different now. Also, there's a cowboy.
Great.
Spoilers about our next story.
Okay.
But no, like, I don't know. Do we want a laser razor? Do you care? Like, is it?
I mean, so people used to shave with like a knife and the water from the river. Like that was it. And then Gillette and all those other dudes were like, let's put like 7 different cascading razors in a row.
Yeah.
There's electric ones. There's all these different things.
Well, I love that. Yeah, like the old kind of brick and mortar, like regular like razors. I love that they just are always trying to reinvent themselves. I was at Target with my fiance, and we were walking through the man products aisle. We walked by this weird demo booth for the latest rotating head razor thing, and it was just like this weird. It was this like spool that had weird blue lumpy things on it, and they wanted to demo the razor head would wobble. So whenever you walk by this thing, it starts rotating and it lights up, and it's just got this weird, vaguely suggestive thing of like a razor doing like a Ridge Racer course, where it's just like whoa,
Ridge Racer.
Yeah, and it was just she just sat there and started laughing at it for a while, and I'm like, I mean,
Oh wait, no, I think I saw that.
yeah, it's real. It's like. It's not to say that it's a dumb thing. It's just kind of like
They had a ladies' razor one that had this like little machine in it that was just like this wave machine.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
the razor's just like, yeah, I got a real
I
shave
love
that
it.
bumpy
But
woman.
But it's also like people kind of were doing okay 3 years ago when they hadn't released that. I feel like they've got kind of a set number of things you can do with a traditional razor.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, let's just find new colors to put it on there. They made like, here's one that just sort of, it lights up kind of, and the light makes your your stubble come out like it's little earthworms that are being like, "What's that light?"
Well, it's kind of like it's like electric scissors. Like they are advancing on a product that we kind of nailed already.
Yeah.
Like, we're good.
But
like,
I want to see inside the world of like bath product marketing, where they're like, how do we get people excited about soap again? And like the whole Old Spice campaign was kind of like that, where they're like, let's get Tim and Eric to do ads for it. And it's like,
yeah,
all right. But then some people are like, did you know that your body is covered with hundreds of gross spores? Luckily, we've got micro scrubbing phaser bubbles that are gonna blast those spores right out of your pores. It comes with a free manly scrubbing sphere. Rub the sphere all over your loins and get those spores out of there. I don't know. What? Well, you don't bathe?
no, I bathe a lot. I just wanted to do a gross face.
All
while you
right,
were
well,
talking
thanks
about
for that.
thing.
So earlier in the show, about 3 minutes ago, we accidentally revealed a cowboy. Here's a picture of that cowboy again. Let's show him off. Let's show them the cowboy. There's the cowboy.
Yeah.
That is no regular cowboy, boys and girls. That is Yul Brynner in the 1975 science fiction. There's VLC player. I love this show. It's great. It's a lot of production value. Yeah, there's a... Yul Brynner was a cowboy robot man in a movie called Westworld, which is one of the earliest Michael Crichton stories. HBO is turning that old story into a series, and that seems like a cool idea. I mean, it's kind of interesting. If you watch Westworld, it's got a lot of the early makings of classics like Jurassic Park. Westworld is a cowboy-themed theme park that has android cowboys that will fight you, but then one of them goes crazy and follows people through the whole world, and he's just killing people, and that's the bad cowboy we saw right there. There he is with his face coming off. So it's kind of like Terminator in that sense. It's people in a theme park being chased by a robot.
Great movie, by the way. Definitely go watch that.
I don't know how you turn that into an HBO series, but I imagine you add a lot of nudity.
Yeah.
And there was apparently a casting call that gave us some weird insight into that.
That's right. So the extras on the casting call for this new show are required to be okay with not only being naked, but also having their junky parts all smudged and touching.
Is that what it said in the, like...
I don't know what it says word for word.
Somebody just drinks like a whole snifter of cooking sherry and then writes like this casting call. I'm feeling frisky today. We need some extras.
No, I mean, we can actually pull up what it says. It's real gross, but basically the crux of this thing is that if you wanted to be an extra, like a friend of the show, Andrew Goldfarb, used to be, I gotta ask him off air if he's ever done anything like this. The headline is, Westworld extras must agree to genital touching. So there's just a lot of real gross stuff. Now, the weirdest thing about all this is that they will only get paid $600 for the shoot.
Yeah.
So how much would you take to have your parts smushed against somebody else? What about some bags on the back of your neck? Would you take those? What about an armpit touching right on the inside of your mouth? Would you have one of those for $600? What about somebody just taking their leg, like their weird leg pit, and just draping it over your warm neck?
Well, like, so
$600?
Okay, so I'm guessing they're gonna have some real sexy, like, can you say whorehouse? I guess you could say that. There's a Dolly Parton movie with whorehouse in the
You
title.
can't just say something and then say, can you say it? It's like when
A
you get a
saloon.
haircut and the barber shaves in
It's
this
a
deep and they
word.
go, is that good? And you're like, well, you already dug in there. Like, now you gotta shave the whole thing.
Yeah, anyway. So I'm guessing they're gonna have stuff like that. Like, what's the sexiest part of the Wild West? And it's probably like saloons with dancing ladies doing bad stuff. I'm guessing they're gonna have something like that where it's like people are banging out with robot cowboy ladies,
Yep.
but like, I'm just really unclear. I'm excited about this because it's like a really weird property for HBO to be dealing with. But I love that our first big piece of news about it is like, guess what? There's gonna be some real slapping of the flesh.
Yeah, we don't
Some
even, I
real
mean, we have like
grinding
a
out.
teaser trailer and that's it. Deadline, who wrote the story, ended the story with the union said that it will have a representative on the set Wednesday to answer any questions. Like, hey, were those balls?
You know, if there's one thing that that's gonna guarantee that I'm gonna sag AFTRA, it's when there's somebody from the union watching me.
Yep.
That was the best joke I had about that.
And it was bad.
It was a bad joke. Yeah, I don't know. That's
we went on Twitter. We asked
fun
you.
thing.
We asked you for questions because we love doing that. That's really what the point of the show is. And we got a lot of them. Like Matthew Fieldhouse asked, "What do you think about video games being on TV?" We never really talked about that.
Yeah.
You and I were out to lunch recently.
That was weird.
And we went to a pizza place across the street called Tony's Slice House. Amazing pizza, some of the best here in San Francisco. Shout out to Tony's. Send us free coupons.
Yeah.
We love your pizza. And ESPN was running simulations of the new Madden game.
Yeah.
And I was like, we were just far enough from the TV where I was like, is Is that a video game? Because it looked like, you know, when you're watching Madden from a distance, it looks like a real sporting game, football. But a couple of frames of animation are missing. So a guy's just like, and he throws the ball, because we'll never get that perfect. It's the uncanny
And it was
valley.
a pizza place, so they got that weird thing on the TV turned on where everyone looks like they're in like a telenovela.
Yep. And the guy next to us goes, yeah, they're showing video games on TV. It's like hell is frozen over. I turn on the TV, ESPN is showing clips of the new Madden game. What's next? This is ridiculous. And we're sitting there like, yeah, totally agree, guy that could beat us up. And then he leaves and we're like, snicker, snicker, snicker. They're showing games on TV. That's really cool. We work across the street at IGN. This is awesome. The nerds are taking over. I really like this. And a lot of people got mad about this. There was the sportscaster that basically said, like, if they show any more of these video games on TV, I'm done. And then they lost his job. And now he's probably working at, you know, some local newspaper.
Probably gonna start a Twitch channel.
Yeah, he's reviewing Mustard.
A Twitch channel where he brings a GoPro down to the junior league soccer field, and he's like, the boys and girls are kicking the ball back and forth again.
So I'm okay with
real
this. How
human
do
flesh and
you
blood.
feel about this?
I don't know. It's kind of odd. We're sort of old farts, and the whole kind of Let's Play culture, I think, kind of missed us by a few years. You know, in terms of it being like, I will absolutely like adore watching a weird little like a bunch of clips or like a weird short clip of something strange happening in a game, or like somebody being like, all right, check out this weird goofy glitch I found. Like I'm down for that. But there are people who consume games entirely by watching other people play them.
I mean, we did a few minutes of it. We do a few minutes of it
we do it every day. It's kind of odd. It's
part of the equation for us, right? It's not the whole thing.
I don't think it makes any sense for any part of the internet to go on TV. There's that show.
Really?
I don't know. Like, I mean, I think that it's kind of like, it's like if they made movies in book form. It's like, I mean, it's like radio dramas. It's not to say that it doesn't work entirely, but like, you ever heard Star Wars, the radio drama?
Yeah.
It's real weird.
It is weird.
Because it takes a 2.5 hour long movie and stretches it out over the course of like 10 hours or something like that. Like it's real, it's just an odd format choice.
I think I see where you're getting at, but I feel like in the form of what we've historically already called sports has been a very loose term in terms of what we can televise.
Yeah, I mean,
you know, like we have
poker's a sport.
Poker, there was like the weightlifting thing, which wasn't just weightlifting, it was like the strongman competition. Like ESPN do you know what they do on 4th of July? They show people eating hot dogs.
Really?
Like, yeah, Kobayashi will just destroy 55 hot dogs, and then that other guy comes in. I'm totally forgetting his name. I'm really sorry. He's actually been beating Kobayashi for a while. And they'll show that on TV, and it's just competitive eating, and it's just because somebody had to do a lot of things. Joey Chestnut, there it is, in a short amount of time. If that's a sport, then so is playing a video game. My problem with the sports, the video game esports that they're showing on TV right now, is that they're games that bore me because I don't understand them. Yeah. Like, I want to see somebody beat like Super Mario 64, like speed runs of Mario 64 where you have to collect every star. I want to see that on ESPN at like 2 o'clock in the morning when I'm half asleep. I want to see somebody power through an Uncharted game without using guns or something like that. A fists-only run of Uncharted. Like, weird stuff like that.
Which is such a weird, like, just the transformative nature of media, because it's like, Uncharted is like a movie that you can play, but you're going to watch a TV show where somebody else is playing it on TV. Very strange. Yep. So Uncharted's also famous because it's a huge inspiration for the upcoming Lara Croft games. We made a video about that. Let's check it out. I'm sorry. Yeah, that should have been a bad tweet, but it turned into a video that people have seen. Yeah. Anyway, this is our show. This is what
Tomb Raider.
Yeah. Next week we're not going to be here. We're not going to be live. We are going to be here. We are going to be showing something at up at noon. But we've got some weird stuff. I have to go on vacation. I have to go on a tropical vacation. You have to go to New York Comic Con.
That's right.
To learn more about the lanyards they attach to your badge.
Yeah,
so
I'm going to eat all the pizza in New York. If you see me running around New York City, come say hello. I'll give you a big bear hug.
Yeah. If you see me in Cancun, then I don't know. That's cool. Say hi, I guess. Sorry about my weird big old white thighs. Coming up next, we've got Vince Ingenito and Ben Janka, who are playing Metal Gear Solid 2 Sons of Liberty if you haven't played Metal Gear Solid 5, some of the stuff they're talking about might go over your head, but there's a lot of weird, deep-rooted stuff in the plot about information. I don't know how spoilery they're going to get, but don't go anywhere if you want to check that out. MGS2 is an awesome game.
That's right. Thank you guys so much for tuning in this week and using the hashtag #UpAtNoon. Leave us a nice comment, click like on the video, and follow us on Twitter. I'm at Agent Bizzle. He's Max Scoville. Follow IGN. That's at IGN. That's how we keep the lights on in here. I know they've been dimming. We have new magic tricks in here.
Yeah.
But that was #UpAtNoon Live. We had a good time.
Fly?
I don't know. I think the fly died, and so did the unicorn. We killed a lot of animals this show. Thanks for watching.